Okay, this video is inspired because one of my cousins just brought up the book of Hosea because of this whole situation with a dear, loving, sweet word of his mouth is what he says he's going to do further. He brought the prophet Hosea in his defense. So what I said, I'm going to make a video about Hosea. I'm going to go read the book of Hosea and do a side by side, see if they can do this, or see if they just do that, or see if they just do like something. You can find any parallels there. So we are at Bible Gateway. We are reading the New American Bible Revised Edition of Hosea 1 through 2 and Hosea 3 5 about the prophet's message and its symbolism. The marriage of Hosea and Gomer. When the Lord began to speak with Hosea, the Lord said to Hosea, "Go forth, get for yourself a woman of prostitution and children of prostitution, for the land of prostitutes itself, turning away from the Lord." So he went back to Gomer, took daughter of Diblaim, and she conceived and bore him a son. Then the Lord said to him, "Give him the name Jezreel, for in a little while I will punish the house of Jehu for the bloodshed at Jezreel, and bring to an end the kingdom of the house of Israel." It's in the book. Okay. Oh, so on that day I will break the bow of Israel in the valley of Jezreel. Got me wanting to look into where exactly Jezreel is. James Monday. Oh Lord, I might look into it myself. But I'm saying like James, like, want to do the sauce can boil on this one with me, boy? With me, old dude. Okay. I will break the bow of Israel in the valley of Jezreel. She conceived again and bore a daughter. The Lord said to him, Give her the name Not Pitied, for I will no longer feel pity for the house of Israel. Rather, I will utterly abhor them. Yet for the house of Judah I will feel pity. I will save them by the Lord their God, but I will not save them by bow and sword, by warfare, by horses or horsemen. And after she was weaned, not pitied, she conceived and bore a son. So this is the second son. Then the Lord said, "Give him the name Not My People, for you are not my people, and I am for you." Starting to see the vengeful side of the Lord our God. The justice applying side of the Lord our God. Starting to see what he's like when he starts to breathe smoke. This battery's weak. Still can't find my bloody broadside. So we're on the simple with the new goat and some American patriots in the tank, in the cotton. I would like some more flavors though. That's the thing, when you take the high road, you're on your own steam and everything, you gotta freaking make a sacrifices. I want to get some more flavors. There's other things too, like that. Anyway, we're all juiced up now. Yeah. Oh wait, no. For I am not, I am for you. Chapter 2. The number of the Israelites will be like the sand of the sea, which can be neither measured nor counted. Instead of being told, "You are not my people," they will be called children of the living God. Then the people of Judah and of Israel will gather together. They will appoint for themselves one head and rise up from the land. Great indeed shall be the day of Jezreel. Say to your brothers, my people, and to your sisters, pity. The Lord and Israel his spouse. Accuse your mother, accuse, for she is not my wife, and I am not her husband. Let her remove her prostitution from her face, her adultery from between her breasts. Or I will strip her naked, leaving her as on the day of her birth. I will make her like the wilderness, make her like an arid land, and let her die of thirst. I will have no pity on her children, for they are children of prostitution. Yes, their mother has prostituted herself. She who conceived them has acted shamefully, for she said, I will go after my lovers, who give me my bread and my water, my wool and my flax, my oil and my drink. Therefore I will hedge in her way with thorns, and erect a wall against her, so that she cannot find her paths. If she runs after her lovers, she will not overtake them. If she seeks them, she will not find them. Then she will say, I will go back to my first husband, for I was better off then than now. Honor, respect, all these things that some of these people are saying, you don't know nothing about that. It's too wet. Good shit, though. For I was better off then than now. She did not know that it was I who gave her the grain, the wine, and the oil. I who lavished upon her silver and gold, which they used for Baal. Therefore I will take back my grain in its time, and my wine in its season. I will snatch away my wool and my flax, which were to cover her nakedness. Now I will lay bare her shame in full view of her lovers, and no one can deliver her out of my hand. I will put an end to all her joy, her festivals, her new moons, her Sabbaths, all her seasonal feasts. I will lay waste to her vines and fig trees, of which she said, these are the fees my lovers have given me. I will turn them into rank growth, and wild animals shall devour them. I will punish her for the days of the Baals, for whom she burnt incense, when she decked herself out with her rings and her jewelry, and went after her lovers. But me she forgot, oracle of the Lord. Therefore I will allure her now. I will lead her into the wilderness and speak persuasively to her. Then I will give her the vineyard she had and the valley of Achor as a door of hope. There she will respond as in the days of her youth, as on the day when she came up from the land of Egypt. On that day, oracle of the Lord, you shall call me my husband, and you shall never again call me my Baal. I will remove from her mouth the names of the Baals. They shall no longer be mentioned by their name. I will make a covenant for them on that day with the wild animals, with the birds of the air, and with the things that crawl upon the ground. Ugh. Fuck, that's good. Oh. 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 Alamne Shields? Bennett? Oh. Thank you very much for giving me the idea to read the book of Hosea and upload it to YouTube. Much love, cuz. Bow and sword and warfare I will destroy from the land, and I will give them rest in safety. I will betroth you to me forever. I will betroth you to me with justice and with judgment, with loyalty and with compassion. I will betroth you to me with fidelity, and you shall know the Lord. On that day I will respond, oracle of the Lord. I will respond to the heavens, and they will respond to the earth. The earth will respond to the grain and wine and oil, and these will respond to Jezreel. I will sow her for myself in the land, and I will have I will have pity on not pitied. I will say to my people, you are my people, and he will say, my God. Chapter 3, Hosea and his wife reunited. Again the Lord said to me, go, love a woman who is loved by her spouse but commits adultery. Just as the Lord loves the Israelites, though they turn to other gods and love raisin cakes. So I acquire her for myself for 15 pieces of silver and a homer and a lethech of barley. Then I said to her, you will wait for me many days. You will not prostitute yourself or belong to any man. I, in turn, will wait for you. For the Israelites will remain many days without king or prince, without sacrifice or sacred pillar, without ephod or household gods. Afterwards, the Israelites will turn back and seek the Lord their God and David their king. They will come trembling to the Lord and to his bounty in the last days. Wow. So, let's examine this now. Let's examine who is the whore and who is the faithful and loving husband who sees the need to chastise his wife lovingly. Love is forever, forever and ever and ever. There is no end to love. But this is a little, not talking about that per se, we're talking about my dear father. And this whole issue of whores. Okay? So, Hosea was commanded by God to go and marry a whore. That is what he is known for in the Bible as a minor prophet. Now, over here, we see here, let's see, where did I see that? Oh, yes, the book of Hosea from Wikipedia. Okay, let's do a little Wikipedia. The book of Hosea, or the Sefer Hosea, Romanized, is one of the books of the Hebrew Bible according to the traditional order of most Hebrew Bibles. It is the first of the 12 minor prophets. Set around the fall of the northern kingdom of Israel, the book of Hosea denounces the worship of gods other than Yahweh, the God of Israel, metaphorically comparing Israel's abandonment of Yahweh to a woman being unfaithful to her husband, or a husband being unfaithful to his wife. Okay? It works both ways. No. Right? Love is a two-way street. Anyway, now, please be quiet. Be quiet, okay? Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Please, not now. Please. Okay? To a woman being unfaithful to her husband. According to the book's narrative, the relationship between Hosea and his unfaithful wife Gomer is comparable to the relationship between Yahweh, or the Most High, and his unfaithful people Israel. The eventual reconciliation of Hosea and Gomer is treated as a hopeful metaphor for the eventual reconciliation between Yahweh and Israel. Hosea prophesied during a dark and melancholic era of Israel's history, the period of the northern kingdom's decline and fall in the 8th century BC. According to the book, the apostasy of the people was rampant, having turned away from God in order to serve both the calves of Jeroboam and Baal, a Canaanite god. The book of Hosea says that during Hosea's lifetime, the kings of the northern kingdom, their aristocratic supporters, and the priests that led the people away from the law of God as given in the Pentateuch. It says that they forsook the worship of God. They worshipped other gods, especially Baal. The Canaanite storm god, and Asherah, a Canaanite fertility goddess. Other sins followed, says the book. And as I said, alumni, it's a slippery slope once you start acknowledging people who do not deserve your respect. It's a very slippery slope. Okay, once you cross certain lines, that's it. You're over that line. Period. And you can be sorry about it. You can do whatever. You can show like remorse, and that's what the book of Hosea says too. You can show remorse when you step over that line. You can redeem yourself if you step over that line, but it takes a certain process, and it's also that same process is also laid out in the book of Hosea. Okay. Other sins followed, says the book, including homicide, perjury, theft, and sexual sin. Excuse me. Hosea declares that unless they repent of these sins, God will allow their nation to be destroyed, and the people will be taken into captivity by Assyria, the greatest nation of the time. The prophecy of Hosea centers around God's unending love towards a sinful Israel. In this text, God's agony is expressed over his betrayal by Israel. Stephen Cook asserts that the prophetic efforts of this book can be summed up in this passage. I have been the Lord your God ever since the days of the land of Egypt. You know no God but me, and besides me there is no Savior. Hosea's job was to speak these words during a time when they had been essentially forgotten. Summary. The book of Hosea contains a number of Yahweh's prophecies and messages for both Judah and northern Israel, Samaria. These are delivered by the prophet Hosea. A brief outline of the concepts presented in the book of Hosea exists below. Chapters 1 through 2, account of Hosea's marriage with Gomer, biographically, which is a metaphor for the relationship between Yahweh and Israel. Okay, so this is just a bunch of blah, blah, blah. Okay, so we already read the book of Hosea, interpretation and context. It speaks for itself. The book of Hosea speaks for itself. Okay, so for the people calling me childish, that I don't handle things, for those saying that my not interacting and socializing with and just generally, being like I am with my neighbor over there, wonderful man, married, children, beautiful, wonderful vibe you get from this person. Don't know him very much about it. I know, he's from. I know where he's from. I know his name. I know that. I know he's a decent neighbor. He's been living here for a while. But this is about how we treat people. But Hosea is making very, very clear, and I'm so glad that you brought up him the way you did, Alamish. Thank you for that. I haven't read the book of Hosea in a long time, and that inspired me to go back and read my Bible and really see what's going on here in this little glitch in the matrix with what's going on with dad and work and all this other stuff that's going on right now. Really, by trying to use the book of Hosea in defense of adultery, it really brought it home what it means, what the book of Hosea really means. Now, your audit is complete. This has been an audit of the book of Hosea. This is the Vaping Audit Frog signing out. Your audit is complete.